My son refused to come to the hospital to see me, and the nurse was still holding the phone when I heard him say it. I have more important things to do. For a moment I thought the line had cut or I'd misheard him. More important things than his father lying in a hospital bed, heart stitched up like a worn-out shirt. The nurse's eyes flicked to mine, awkward, pitying. She quietly placed the phone back in my trembling hand and stepped away to give me privacy. Liam, I forced my voice to stay calm. Son, I'm in the hospital. I just had surgery. On the other end, I could hear traffic, horns, someone laughing in the background. He wasn't even at home. I pictured him walking down some busy road, backpack slung over one shoulder, eyes on the ground the way they'd been the last time we spoke face to face. I know, Dad, he said, sighing. Mom told me. I'm just busy. Busy with what? Skipping your classes again? The words slipped out sharper than I meant them to. A pause. Then his voice turned cold. Yeah, okay, I'm hanging up. Liam, wait. The call ended. Just like that. The beeping of the heart monitor suddenly sounded louder, angrier. I stared at my pale fingers wrapped around the phone, an IV line taped to the back of my hand, and thought, did I really raise a son who could say that to me? Liam wasn't always like this. There was a time he would run to me the moment he heard my key in the door. Tiny sneakers slapping against the wood floor, his voice bright. Daddy's home! Daddy's home! He'd grab my leg, demand to be picked up, and then bury his face in my neck like he was finally safe. That boy disappeared somewhere between my promotions and his teenage years. I used to work 12, sometimes 14 hours a day. It's for you, I'd tell him whenever he complained, so you can have a better life than I did. But all he ever heard was, I'm too busy for you. We started arguing when he was 16, about his grades, his friends, his attitude. I told myself I was being a firm father. He told me I was just never there when it mattered and always there when he messed up. The night he moved out at 19, after a fight about his decision to drop engineering and switch to photography, he said something that stuck like glass in my chest. You only care about how I make you look. You never care about what I want. I told him if he walked out, not to come back asking for money or help. He walked out anyway. That was 2 years ago. The cardiologist came in that afternoon checking my chart. Post-surgery went well, he said. But you need rest. Avoid stress. I wanted to laugh. My heart was stitched up, but my head was replaying Liam's words on a loop. More important things to do. I'd survived a heart attack. I wasn't sure if I could survive that sentence. Doctor, I asked quietly, if someone is under a lot of emotional stress, could that trigger another heart problem? It can certainly make recovery harder, he replied. Best to keep a calm environment, see the people who make you feel supported. I didn't have the courage to tell him the one person I wanted to see was the one refusing to come. That night, my wife, Anna, came to sit with me. Her hair was slightly messy, dark circles under her eyes. She'd been running between home, hospital, and her small tutoring job to make ends meet since I'd been off work. How's Liam? I asked, even though I already knew. She hesitated, then sat down, smoothing the blanket over my legs. He's fine. Did you talk to him after the call? He's angry, Daniel, she said softly. He's still hurt. I'm the one in a hospital bed, I snapped before I could stop myself. Her eyes filled with tears, but her voice stayed steady. And he's the one who grew up without a father at his school plays. His parent-teacher meetings, his football matches. Pain doesn't cancel other pain. It just sits next to it. That stung, because it was true. I was working, I protested weakly. I know, she said. And I'm grateful, really. But Liam doesn't remember the rent you paid. He remembers the empty chair. I turned my face to the window, watching the dim hospital courtyard lights blur. Do you want him to come? She asked. Of course I do. Then maybe you have to say something you've never said before. I frowned. Like what? That you're sorry. The word stuck in my throat like a dry pill. The next morning, the nurse came in with my breakfast and a folded piece of paper. This came with your wife earlier, she said, placing it on the table. In Anna's delicate handwriting, it read, Daniel, you don't have to fix everything today, but you can start. Write to him. No lectures, no conditions. Just write. I'll send it to him. I stared at the blank back of the paper for a long time. I was better with spreadsheets than with feelings. But I thought of Liam's little boy hands playing with my tie. and his older hands throwing that same tie into a box when he moved out. My fingers shook as I picked up the pen. I wrote, "Liam, I heard what you said, that you have more important things to do than come see me. I want to be angry at you. I want to tell you how disrespectful that is. But lying here, I keep thinking about all the times I chose more important things than you. I chose meetings over your first match. I chose overtime over your school exhibition. I chose silence over trying to understand you. I thought I was being a good father by providing. Maybe I forgot to be a present one. You have every right to be angry. You have every right not to come. I still hope you will. Not because I'm dying. The doctors say I'm not. At least not today. But because I don't want our last conversations to be fights. If you do come, I promise to listen more than I talk. If you don't, I'll still love you. I always have, even when it looked like I was just shouting. Dad." I read it 3 times, my vision blurring. Then I folded it and handed it to Anna when she visited in the afternoon. "Will he read it?" I asked. "He always reads my messages," she said. "Even when he replies late." That night was long. Every noise in the corridor made me look at the door. Every set of footsteps made my heart leap and then sink. Midnight passed. Then 1, then 2. He wasn't coming. The next morning, my chest felt heavier, though the monitor said everything was stable. I asked the nurse for my phone. No messages. I opened our WhatsApp chat. The last message I'd sent him before the surgery was, "Send your ID copy. Need it for insurance forms. No, how are you? No, I miss you. Just a request." I was about to close the app when 3 dots appeared at the bottom. "Liam is typing." My breath caught. Then a message arrived. "I'm outside." My hand shook as I reached for the bed control, raising the headrest. My heart thudded despite the doctor's orders to stay calm. The door opened slowly. Liam stepped in, taller than I remembered. A camera bag slung over his shoulder, his hair slightly messy. He looked tired and scared. For a second, neither of us spoke. "So," I said, because stupid humor was my shield, "you found time between your more important things?" He winced. "I didn't mean it like that." "How did you mean it then?" He shifted his weight from one foot to the other. "I meant, I didn't want to see you on a hospital bed and pretend everything was okay. I thought I'd just feel fake, and I hate feeling fake around you." His honesty was like a slap and a bandage at the same time. "I got your letter," he added, voice softer. "I've never heard you say sorry before. I've never written it before," I admitted. "Maybe I should have started earlier." He pulled a chair closer and sat down, eyes darting to the wires and IV lines. "You look old," he said, then grimaced. "Sorry, that sounded rude." "It's okay. I feel old." I studied his face. "You look like a man now." "When did that happen?" "When you weren't looking," he said quietly. The silence between us was thick but not as sharp as before. "I was afraid," I said. "When you said you wanted to do photography, I was afraid you'd struggle the way I did. I didn't want you to be poor. I didn't want you to fail." He let out a bitter laugh. "You were so busy protecting me from your past that you never asked what I wanted my future to look like." "I know," I said. "And I'm sorry, truly." He swallowed, eyes shining. "You always made me feel like I was a disappointment." "That was never my intention." "I know," he said, surprising me. "I know you thought you were doing what's best. But your words, they hurt, Dad. Every time you compared me to some friend's son, every time you said, 'If you keep this up, you'll end up nothing,' I believed you. That's why I didn't come yesterday. I thought, what's the point? I'll just feel like a failure standing next to your bed." My throat closed up. "Liam," I said slowly, every word heavy, "I did fail. Not at work. Not at providing. I failed at being gentle when you needed gentleness. I thought shouting meant strength. Maybe it was just fear." We sat there in the soft beep of the machines, 2 stubborn men finally admitting they were scared. "I don't want to lose you," I said. "Not to illness. Not to ego. Not to silence." He looked at me for a long time, eyes moving over the wrinkles on my face, the gray in my beard. "You scared me, you know," he said. "When Mom said heart attack, I acted cool. I said I was busy. But really I was just angry and terrified at the same time. And now? Now." He took a deep breath. "Now I'm still angry, but I'm here. Sometimes that's the most love anyone can offer." "I don't expect you to forgive me overnight," I said. "I don't even expect you to visit every day. I just want us to start again. Slower, better." He nodded. "No more shouting?" "No more shouting," I promised. And maybe you can show me your photos sometime, the ones you're so stubborn about. For the first time in years, a small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. I brought my camera, he said, lifting the bag. Thought, maybe I'd take your picture. You know, before you get all healthy and annoying again. I laughed, the sound rusty but real. Take it, but make me look less old. No promises, he said, but there was warmth in his voice now. He stood, adjusted his camera, and raised it. Okay, Dad, he murmured. Look at me. I did. For the first time in a long time, I didn't see the angry teenager who walked out. I saw my son, the little boy who used to run to the door. The shutter clicked. In that captured moment, we weren't a father and son with a lifetime of mistakes between us.